Hello and welcome to Elseworlds, a DC fan podcast. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Chris. How are you today, Chris?
I'm doing really good. Found my second win for the day. Gonna talk some superhero stuff, DC, Elseworlds. That's how we do.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about in this show today because, well, there's the Joker 2 trailer that came out. There was some Superman villain rumors that Gunn responded to. We have a Supergirl director attached. We have Teen Titan rumors, a Christopher Reeve film coming up. A lot of stuff to dive into. Um, I'll say, one thing that's been really fun for me right now is I'm rewatching the show Chuck with Zachary Levi. So you have a Shazam tie-in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in that show, Kristen Crook makes an appearance. So we get a little Smallville there, and then Brandon Routh is in the show as well. So you get a little Legends of Tomorrow Superman
Wow.
action as well. They even make a reference to him being like Superman at one point. So it's been a show I've always enjoyed, and just revisiting it has been so much fun as it's been a decade since I've watched it. So it's been good. That's been my show since I moved on from Stargirl, and
Nice.
the Arrowverse is revisiting a classic for me. So and introducing it to my wife.
Yeah, I actually watched the first season of that a long time ago and I just never got hooked. So maybe I'll try to go back to that and see if I jam with it a little more. Who knows? But that's cool. And I actually realized I haven't really seen Kristen Crook in like anything but Smallville. So
Yeah, she was also in some. Wasn't she in some sort of horse? I don't know. I feel like she was in something that I'm forgetting, like some horse show or something.
some horse
But
show.
yeah, let me see. What was it called? Oh, she's in Reacher apparently.
Really?
Yeah. But this was like right after her run on Smallville ended, that she appeared for like 4 episodes in Chuck as a love interest.
Was she in Reacher the show or the movie?
It says show, four
Okay,
episodes.
cool.
Yeah, and then she was in a show called Ghostwriter in 2021. Oh, she was in a show called Burden of Truth, some sort of CW drama about, I guess, lawyer stuff.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I don't never watched it, but I saw
Oh,
the
she was in Beauty
commercial.
and the Beast as well, which
Okay.
was a CW CW show.
I'd actually like to see her in things that are not Lana Lang. To see what's the Lana and what's the her.
Yeah, no, she was really great in Chuck, so she's very talented. Just wasn't given a lot to do in those, except for the love triangle stuff
The
over
very
in
one
Smallville.
note Smallville, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's a different conversation. We'll get there, believe me.
yeah. So we have. Where do we want to start with the Joker? Do we want to start with
Let's
Joker? Kind
start
of
with
get it out of the
Joker.
way.
Let's get it out of the way because I think we're more pessimistic with this movie than most fans are, and it's kind of contrary to our brand because we're usually the optimistic DC
Yeah.
guys. Um, I just think that Joker Folie with a big budget, different take on it. I think they've lost the thread and what made the first one work, but trailer was pretty awesome, man. I got to tell you, the trailer looked good.
Oh, you did like the trailer?
I did. I liked the first movie okay. My problem with the first movie is I just don't ever need to see it again. I mean,
Hmm.
I saw it once. I'm good. That makes me skeptical for a sequel. It's not a feeling that usually elicits a sequel.
Yeah, I actually didn't really care for the trailer. I liked the first movie enough, but and I'll say the trailer didn't move me at all. Like I got done the trailer and I was like, yeah, I still feel the same way. And the way I feel is, I'll wait. I'll wait for home video. I'm not rushing out to see Joker, Folie Do. I'm not. Uh, I'm not joke in, as people have been saying. I'm joke out right now. Like I just don't think it's going to be You know what? And I said this on Reddit too, but I think the movie will be very good. I think that they'll. I think it'll be made very well. I think
Mhm.
it'll surprise me when I watch it. I'm just not feeling it. I don't know why. I'm just not feeling it. I think they are hiding the musical stuff, and
Mhm.
it's might piss some people off when they come out of the movie and say, "Oh, it was a musical." Like when Mean Girls just did their reboot that was a musical, they did not show it was a musical in trailers, and people walked out and it affected the cinema score. People like walked out of that saying it was a musical. Uh, I do worry about that, but I guess if it's a very good movie, it could, um, it could kind of get past that a bit.
So the theory that I'm seeing is that the music is gonna be the what's in Joker and Harley's head thing, kinda like the first one. Anything positive that happened to Arthur was in his imagination. I think that'll just take the place of that, and I like that theory. I've seen a lot of people go with that, and
Here's my issue with that, Chris, real quick.
yeah.
I feel like that is the cheap way out. And what I mean by that is when they mentioned it being a musical anyway, that's where my mind had already went.
Yeah,
So the fact that I'm making that judgment like as soon as I hear musical, I'm like that seems like that's the safe choice to do. And I just don't know if that is it's not even like I want them to go like real balls to the wall with it. It's just it, that doesn't like get me excited either because I would be kind of like that's exactly what I thought it was going to be.
right. So I think musical affects me less than it affects you. And the reason I say that is
No, you're wrong
I
because
like
I like
musicals.
musicals.
Okay.
I love musicals.
Okay,
I've
cool.
gone to see musicals. Do I need that
Maybe
in
it's Ron that doesn't like them. I feel like we've had that conversation, but
do I need that in Joker?
probably
No.
not.
I,
Yeah.
I I don't think I do. And I know people say, "Well, that's what's so like cinema about it, right? Is that that they're going a direction that they're taking a risk."
I
Um
I'm so tired of worrying about cinema and what's not cinema and
oh my
what's
god. It's the
highbrow and I don't
it's
care. I
awful.
think Todd Phillips will make a good movie. I think Joaquin Phoenix will knock it out of the park. And Lady Gaga, if you've ever seen anything she's done, she doesn't she's not a lazy actress. She really goes in with her roles. I think my problem with it is I actually haven't really liked anything she's done. Like A Star is Born, one of my least favorite
Mhm.
movies of all time. I just thought that movie was devoid of all positive emotions. And I I just don't know that this movie is what we need right now. Like like desperately waiting for Superman with a little hope in here. We'll talk about that movie coming up, but I'm just it's just we're in a pretty dark, cynical place where like the default setting for everybody right now is doom and gloom. And then you got Joker coming out. And I don't think I felt this way with the first one, but I just don't know that it's what we need right now. I'm not feeling it. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping it's great. I just think this movie is going to hit weird. And I think the general audience is going to like this a lot less than the first one. And I think a lot of the first one's billion was made out of the controversy of what this movie was, and everyone had to see it because it was controversial. I think after the first one, I don't think you're getting that effect twice. The budget is so high, so even if it does relatively well, I mean, I hate to say $1 billion is ever a benchmark because I think it's a dumb thought, but the amount of money and the amount of confidence that Warner Brothers is showing in this movie makes me think their expectations aren't going to be realistic for this. So failing is a lot easier than succeeding. I think. I don't know. I skeptical about Joker 2. Hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I can't see this getting a billion the way that the first one did. It's like what one of the only R-rated movies to get a billion, or
Mm-hmm.
it's there will be people that are turned off by the music. There'll
Mm-hmm.
be no matter how good it is, there will be people that don't show up for it once the reviews come out and once the cinema score comes out, and people are like, you know, if you like musicals, go see it. If you don't, like, you're not, you're gonna want to wait. And for me, I just never really envisioned revisiting this world. I look, when they showed that one clip. So I saw a clip right before the trailer, of just Joker laughing, or I mean crying, right in the
Mhm.
rain, and people were like, "Oh, this is perfect." And for me, it was like, it seems pretentious, and and we'll see how it goes when the actual movie happens. I did enjoy the first one. I was on the side of it being like how everybody was worried it was going to cause incels to riot and go crazy. I was like, no, that's not going to happen. It's just a movie. And that came and went, and nothing, everything was fine. The movie, I watched it probably in 2020 on Blu-ray after it had come out, because I like owning my films, and I enjoyed it. But like you said, it was one of those I'm like, not gonna really watch that ever again. And when I see the trailer for this, I was like, it is kind of like watching it over again. And I don't know if I really want to do that. So I'll give
There's
it a
only so
shot when
much you
it
can
comes
go with
out.
this. It's just gonna get more grand. It's his
Yeah, what
highs are gonna get
happens if it's a
higher.
success and they want a
Mhm.
third one? Where do you go from there?
But
Right?
how do you build a world around Joker? Because first off, Bruce Wayne is a kid, okay? Because it's coming like you would think, he's in the mental asylum, you got the blood on the floor. You would think it's after that, and he's in jail and all that stuff. So Bruce Wayne's still a kid. I can't see this Joker taking on Batman. Can't take that seriously. I don't know how much of this world you can flesh out. I the other thing is the age difference between Harley Quinn and Batman in this universe would be really weird. Like it would be like I know like Bruce is usually a little older, than Harley. I The whole thing doesn't make sense. It's a little like Gotham where you like rush the timelines to everything. I just don't think it works. I don't think you can build a Batman villain world without Batman, and I don't want to put Batman into this because I think it makes everything murky. I think you should have just left it at one movie. I I I think it would be stronger as one movie. I don't think it's going to be enriched by another movie. I think it will just be the same note that they hit before in a different
Unintended.
style. Yeah, unintended. Yeah. And if you're going to be a musical, just say it. Just say it, do it. Be about it. Maybe you want cinema, you want to set the landmark, you want to be the big bad movie that everyone respects. Change the way you market musicals by being a musical. If you're going to be a musical, just be a musical. This lollygagging is only going to hurt the film. It's going to hurt the film. There's no doubt about it. And Mean Girls is a really good example because a lot of people walked out of that movie going, "What the heck was that?" Which is hilarious because it was adapted on a Broadway musical. I don't. It shows you how media illiterate people are. But this one isn't like that. This one isn't being adapted from a musical. This one is mysteriously ambiguous. I don't know what they're doing. I think they're missing the mark.
I'll push back a bit on this. I don't I don't care about Batman being a kid in this, or not being able to fight him, or anything like that, because uh as an Elseworlds, I'll accept pretty much anything. So in this universe, Joker's, so much older than Batman. Who knows what happens in this universe? Uh, I think you can build a universe of villains without Batman better than you can with the Spider-Man stuff, because, like, I don't know, I liked Gotham, right? I know I'm in the minority on that, but there were, the people that they cast in those villain roles were good enough, and they were hamming it up enough to for me to kind of look the other way and say I don't need Batman right now. Like, just them going up against Commissioner Gordon as a cop was enough for me to be like, I'm getting a little Batman fix, but I also acknowledge it is a separate universe and I'm not expecting to see Batman in this. And that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of what I am with Joker. Like, it's fine if you want to do a sequel. I'll see it eventually, but it's I'll figure out how we're gonna cover it on this show if we need to. But it's just I'm not really feeling it. And like I said, it looks good. Like it looks like it's going to be well made, well acted, probably win some Oscars. But I just don't know if it's my vibe.
Yeah. So the last thing I'll say about the whole thing with the Batman element of it is that to me, woven into everything that is the Joker in pop culture and everything that makes the Joker who the Joker is, it's that duality between Batman and Joker, and as part of the identity. And Joker without Batman really doesn't work that well for me. I mean, I need to. I maybe I'm looking at this wrong, and I need to adjust myself. But I need to believe that this guy can be the Joker to take it seriously as Joker. Otherwise, it's a riff on Joker, and it's not really the Joker. It's always been my problem with this version of Joker. But I get what you're saying 100%. I really do. I'm probably not being fair to the movie, honestly. But I'm so tired of this. Oh my goodness, let's bow down to the cinema mastery of Joker, Folie, Deux, a movie that hasn't been out yet. Meanwhile,
That's my big thing. It's
yeah,
not even out yet.
look, I'm hoping to be wrong. See, hoping to be wrong about a movie is a lot different than saying it sucks already. It
No, I
just
agree.
is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can move on from Joker. I'll say the one thing that really I did like was the like last shot of him like matching the lipstick up with his
Mm-hmm.
face, but it doesn't make much sense because she is not at the right angle for it to see for her to see that. It's just for the camera.
Yeah.
But oh well. I mean, it was a fun shot.
It
But
is a fun shot. There are elements I like about it. I like the idea of the first one. I like the idea of the medical condition is why he's laughing. Fine. There's a lot of things I like about the social commentary, how we let people down, how people fall through the cracks. I think that's all well and good. It hurts my heart, but it's all well and good.
all right. Next topic. Let's talk let's get into the Superman villain rumors, right? Because the other
Hmm.
stuff is like short,
Yeah.
um, short stuff. So there was a report out there by Daniel RPK and a few others that said, I think Kim, my time to shine, hello, who I'm now dubbing my time to say, oh no, because anytime they pop up on my feed, I get a little upset. Um, they were saying that the main villain, is how this was reported, by
Hmm.
the way, um, on other accounts. I don't have Daniel's Patreon. I have no clue how he originally reported it. But when the other reports were reporting it, he said main villain would be a clone of Superman who is uh, Ultraman and will deteriorate into Bizarro. First, um, James is never going to say for sure if this is true or not. Okay. He does come out and say kind of like, why would you even want to know? Which has led people to think that it is true. But there are times he comes out and says fake for sure on stuff, and then there's also times where he doesn't, even if the thing isn't true. He sometimes will kind of deny it a different way. And I think this way he was just a little bit more frustrated with
Hmm.
how it was going, and um, kind of shared that. But first, let's talk about the rumor itself before James Gunn shoots it down, because I know we had a group chat.
Yeah.
Ron was kind of anti this. I'm not a big fan of it if it is going to happen, but I think there is a way it can work. And the way I said it could work was, Lex makes the clone and is Like, I will dub him Ultraman. Ultra is better than Super. I'm gonna show the universe that I can save the world through my creation. We don't need an alien. We don't need Superman to step in and save the day. Lex Luthor will take care of that with his Ultraman. And I think you could do something with that and make it a really interesting plot point where actually the main villain is Lex Luthor and not Bizarro slash Ultraman. The rumor also said Ultraman would not be from another universe. And I saw people be like, well, that rules out the crime syndicate. It doesn't, but also, do we really think this universe is going to last long enough that we're going to get the crime syndicate showing up? I don't know about that. I think they're going to stay more away from multiverse stuff because that's what Marvel's doing right now. I think they're going to lean into the other
And it's getting
direction
Marvel in
for
more
that.
trouble than they wanted to be honest with you. I think a lot of the superhero fatigue is people just not keeping up with the complexity of the multiversal stuff and having their expectations not rewarded from multiversal stories. But I think you're right. Lex Luthor has to be the main villain. But my thing, the reason it works for me, and look, I don't know that this is the plot. There's two reasons that it works for me. One, we've seen something similar in Superman and Lois, and I think if it's that's a great example. If it's written maturely, it will be great. I loved what they did with that. And secondly, the general audience doesn't care about Superman right now. Superman is a big name. He has cachet. He's a popular character, but the general audience that you need to get in here needs to be convinced why they should still care about Superman or why they should see Superman outside of the shadow of Christopher Reeve. That is what Man of Steel didn't do. So if you're going to have Superman have to take on an opposite of him, that is a great way to show you the merit of Superman and the good in Superman. And I think if you write it in a way that's personal to Clark and ties it to Lex, and Lex is the main protagonist, I think you get all the story beats you need there. But also, can we just watch the movie? Because I think if you told if you told me that the High Evolutionary was going to do all those horrible things to Rocket Raccoon and all those animals before I saw the movie. And you said they're going to go to a planet where you know you know it's just if you it sounds fantastically weird and it sounds too simple and it worked really well. So just trust James Gunn. Guardians 3 was great. Guardians 2 was good. I know some people don't like it. I don't get it, but there's no reason to think that James Gunn, who has proven himself as one of the best directors in the superhero genre, is going to whiff on this. And you know what? I don't think this is the traditional redundant. We've seen it before. Evil Superman take. I think there's more to it. And until I see that there's not more to it, just stop it. I we're trying to sink this movie before it even gets going. That's what people are trying to do.
Um, yeah, this scooper culture has been weird since No Way Home, I would say. But
Yeah.
I remember seeing set photos of Endgame, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't know." I love time travel. Ooh, I don't know if I like them going back in time and fixing stuff. We'll see how that works out. It worked out perfectly, right? And I remember Endgame leaked, and I saved the leak and didn't read it until I walked out of theaters, and it was dead on, and all the comments were like, "This sounds awful," because written down sounds like there's no soundtrack, there's no actual performances, there's nothing
There's no
there.
story, there's an outline, it's a skeleton.
Right.
You're looking at a
This
skeleton.
can so if this was to be used,
Mhm.
it can sound awful on paper but work out perfectly when everything's put together and it's not an outline. But James Gunn did, I guess, kind of shoot this down. I know some people say he didn't. Um, so he put out a thread on. Okay. 6 days ago. The primary protagonist of Superman is shockingly Superman. The main villain of Superman is shockingly Lex Luthor. I don't know where all the stuff is coming from that it's something other than this. There are so many stories coming out every day, it's difficult to deal with, and every time I strike something down, I'm giving it attention. So I'll say again, don't believe anything unless you see it here. Uh, and why would you want to know everything before the movie came out anyway? And that's the truth. Why do you want to know before? And why are we asking and demanding for this? Somebody said that, hey, we have to get the full suit reveal on April 18th. That is the anniversary of Superman's first appearance.
Oh, come on.
Right. It's why are we
Silly.
expecting this all the time? Like he has other stuff he's doing. I know he's and then I get annoyed by people say he needs to log off. I'm like, no, let him use social media if he wants to use social media. It's not his fault that people are constantly begging for him to talk about this stuff. And then when he does talk about it, you say, you need to log off, bro. Shouldn't you be directing a movie right now? Maybe that's how he unwinds for the night, is shooting shit down. And you know what? I don't blame him because
It's
I would
kind of a
probably do
game
the
to
same
him.
thing.
It's probably a game to him at this point. And to be perfectly honest with you, the to say this looks poorly on James Gunn is very silly to me, because to me it shows he's emotionally intelligent. He's mature enough to deal with all of the things thrown at him and still keep his thread of logic, sanity, all that good stuff. I think James Gunn is knowing that he's got to be the front man, that if he logs off, I think the only one who benefits from James Gunn logging off is the scoopers who want to say whatever the hell they want to say. Like the people who want to make up crap and attack his brand will have a field day the second he says I'm no longer doing social media. He's not going to shoot down everything, but I think he's a damage control that Marvel really doesn't have. Marvel really doesn't have this, so we're not used to this. Marvel's been the end all be all of superhero movies. And I think
And
Marvel
what
would benefit
happened?
from a guy like James Gunn doing what he's doing. But hey, what do I know? They fired him and then rehired him, and thank goodness they did. But
No, I agree because that they need somebody like this because um here's the thing. Multiverse of Madness, the scoopers got out of control. Some stuff was right, some stuff was made up, some stuff was cut. This movie, they were like, no, for Deadpool and Wolverine, they're like, no, this is really going to be everything we thought Multiverse Madness was. Guess what? Somebody came out last week and said, oh, temper your expectations because it's not going to have as many cameos as we thought. All right, then stop hyping it up before the movie comes out. Like,
mm-hmm.
the, the, the people that think the MCU has fallen off, if you didn't like the recent projects, fine. But I think there is an element of people that got hyped up by stuff that didn't happen and was probably never going to happen. And they get upset that it didn't happen. And at least with this, James Gunn kind of comes out and does acknowledge some of this stuff. He was not going to come out and say this is 100% fake, I don't think, because he's addressing numerous rumors. He says, look, there's a lot of stuff every day I log in. Don't believe it all. The main villain is going to be Lex. And then you have people saying, well, he actually didn't shoot it down because it says the main villain's Lex. And I'm like, yes, but the original report said main villain was the clone. So it really is just a mess when it comes to this. And what I would like to say to people is stop spreading this crap because
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm talking about it on a podcast right now, but I don't really want to know this stuff. So I don't want to see it on my timeline. I don't really want to have this going into
Uh-huh.
the film. I just want to experience the movie when it actually happens.
And lost on this is the electric the engineer. Lost on this is Guy Gardner. Lost on this is Mr. Terrific. All Hawk Girl. All the stuff. Lois Lane, by the way, is a character in this movie. A lead in this movie. I I don't think people understand that this story is going to be a little more nuanced than just this little skeleton that's been scooped. But also, I buy more into the reverse Kingdom Come angle that we've been talking about, and then Lex and Ultraman could really actually fit into that very well. So I think we're just dissecting it a little too much, and we're missing the fact that we just had a really awesome logo reveal. Like, we already kind of got the logo, but we got the shiny glossed marketing logo for it. I That looks awesome. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. I don't know. People are just losing their minds.
And we were kind of wrong too, because we thought maybe like the logo wasn't the full Kingdom Come shield, but it is. Like, because it the red does continue down and do
Hmm.
the thing. We couldn't see it on the first angle that well, but it's been made more clear in that shared thing there.
Yeah, it's its own logo, and it's the Kingdom Come logo at the same time. It's perfect. I love it so much. I want it on a T-shirt. I want it on a hat. I want it on a decal. I want it everywhere. I want it in my eggs, and in my ham. I Dr. Seuss this thing. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
Okay, so we have Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, is hitting theaters in September, and this is actually going to be a DC Studios project. So it was bought by Warner Brothers after it was already made, but they're going to release it under DC Studios in September, and it's a story about Christopher Reeve post his accident, I believe. So
Mm,
definitely want to check that out at a certain point.
absolutely. And I think it's kind of
We
cool
also
that
Yeah.
DC is like, yeah, we got to have this. I think James Gunn is like, dude, it's DC. We got to have this. I think that's pretty cool.
All right. How about Craig Gillespie in talks to direct Supergirl for DC Studios? He directed Cruella and I Tonya or I Tanya. I have not seen either of those, so I'm not real familiar with
I
his work.
very much enjoy I, Tanya. I think I, Tanya was a very good movie. I think it was a very good take on the craziness of Tanya Harding and all that stuff. Margot Robbie knocked it out of the park. Strong female lead. For all the people who say, "Oh, you need a female director," well, he directed some really strong female leads so far. If you can work with Margot Robbie and Emma Stone, chances are Millie Alcock will be in good hands. I haven't seen anything else though, so it's not like I have a very like studied pick of this director, studied take. But the one movie I saw, I really liked, so there's that.
Yeah, and I'll cover real quick the point of view of people saying this should be a woman director. Um, I don't care who directs this movie, as long as they're good, and that is kind of what I think. We can have women directed movies of the men characters too, like, and that's the ultimate goal, is equality in the sense of they can get any job. I don't think we always have to pigeonhole women directors to be, you're getting Wonder Woman, you're getting Captain Marvel, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that. I do believe, one, the script is being written by a woman, so there will still be a woman perspective for this movie. But two, um, I think just get the best person for the job. I'm sure there will be a woman director for one of these male-led projects at a certain point, and you know, I just have faith in Gunn picking out the right people for the job. So that is something I am very excited for. I have no clue how good this director is, but I'm hoping when I watch the movie, it's good and it's everything we need.
So one of the things that I noticed with this is I didn't really get a candidates pool. I didn't really get a candidates pool. We never really had a short list. How many women were on that list? How many women directors really wanted? Was anybody vying for it? Uh, I don't know. But you talk on Twitter, and I swear people only know Greta Gerwig. It's insane. Patty Jenkins and Greta Gerwig. That's the two they know.
Yep, that's the one that that everybody brings up. Like, oh, this would be perfect for her. And you're
And
like,
it would be great for her, but
but
also,
she's going to be doing Narnia. She's
yeah,
got her own projects she's
yeah,
doing.
she wasn't gonna do this. She was never gonna do this. So it's just a wasted conversation. You're bringing hate onto something that has nothing negative about it so far. You know, and this is a huge break for Millie Alcock, who gained fame in House of the Dragon. She is set up to have a stellar career if she knocks this out of the park, and that's great. So I don't know. I'm excited about Supergirl. I like that it's getting going. I like that we're on the fast track. Cool. I really like the character. It's apparently just going to be called Supergirl now. I still hope they
We
do.
don't know that. We
Oh,
we don't know
that
that.
hasn't been confirmed. That okay.
No, Deadline called it Supergirl, but um I would wait until James says something about it. Because as of like the Teen Titan news in March, Variety was still calling it Superman Woman of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Deadline sometimes does short names like that. So I don't know. I would wait until we confirm that 100%.
Well, we're gonna know whether they're adapting Woman of Tomorrow when they get to casting. Like if they don't cast a
Well,
Ruthie,
no, they are still
yeah,
adapting it. It's
right,
just I think the only reason they would name change it is for the
mm-hmm,
same reason they name change Superman Legacy,
right.
is to be like, all right, this isn't a sequel. You can watch this movie, and I think that's the only reason they would change it.
Yeah, but
But I don't think it's
Supergirl hasn't
official
had a
yet.
movie since 1984. I don't think we have to worry about confusing people if it's a sequel.
There would absolutely be people. I know I have family members that have no clue what movies have been made. They would absolutely
So they would think it was a
think
sequel. Oh, come, yeah.
they would because they
You're
have
right. Maybe.
my
That's
grandparents.
thanks.
They have no clue what movies have been made for some of the stuff. They'd be like, "Oh, you seen the new Supergirl movie?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like the only
That's
one
fair.
other
That's
than the
fair.
'80s."
I went to see my grandmother in assisted living with a Batman shirt,
Right.
and she asked me what the circle on my shirt was, and I was like, Batman. Like I thought that was ubiquitous. So that if you're not into it, eh.
And I see a lot of people pushing for Batman Brave and the Bold has to get renamed. We'll see if they do, but I still don't think it has to be renamed because you can't name it. You can't. You
You
don't want to confuse it with the Batman,
Yeah,
right? So
you can have
that is the
Batman
main
and the
thing,
Batman.
right? Right. So if they did Batman and Son, like some people say, I wonder if people would think, oh, is this the Batman sequel? Like,
Brave and the Bold is
we'll
already
see.
an established Batman thing, though. And I know in the general audience you might not know that, but it was a pretty successful cartoon. It's been a comic thing. I feel like that works. It has some cachet. It's not going to move the needle for a lot of people, but it does do a really good job, like you said, of disambiguating it. I think I just made up a word there. Uh,
I like it though.
yeah, but I think it does a good job of that. So I'm fine with Brave and the Bold. I'm also fine with just letting things unfold and then seeing what happens. I obviously want news to happen so we have something to talk about on the show, but at the same time, I want to enjoy the movies when they hit the theater.
Yep. No, yeah, I agree with that. So, all right, how about let's talk Teen Titans? DC Studios is tapping screenwriter Anna Noguera, who is writing the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And this was reported March 15th. We just kind of had all those episodes in the can and the draft. We haven't had a chance to talk about it. But Gunn hasn't confirmed this. I don't think he would confirm something like this until uh, an event or until they're ready to go. But it's being reported by the trades. It's the same writer as Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, so they must really like what they're reading from her. And I'm just really excited for a Teen Titans film. And I want to ask you, what's your lineup here? Who are you grabbing?
All right. So I think to me, if it's Titans, you got to have Dick Grayson as the leader. the adult in the room, even if there's another Robin attached to the team as maybe a full-time member of the team. You got to have Dick Grayson in there in some way, somehow. Um, if you have Dick Grayson, you got to have Starfire. Beast Boy and Raven seem like obvious. And give me Donna Troy and give me Kid Flash, Roy Harper, maybe. I'm good. I mean, you can do a lot of different things with the Titans. I think you're probably going to get Blue Beetle in there because, like, convenience, but I don't need him in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need. I think this would be a great time to introduce Wally. I think this would be a great time to introduce Dick. And I would love if we got some of a more classic lineup like Speedy and
Mm-hmm.
um but I think a lot of people think of the cartoon, and I would kind of liken it to X-Men. Like
Mm-hmm.
the original X-Men team is different than what X-Men the animated series had and X-Men 97 has. But that's the popular team. That is the more
Mm-hmm.
popular team. So I
Absolutely.
wouldn't be shocked if they go with the newer Titans
And Young Justice was also
stuff.
popular too. So
Yeah.
that does give some credence to Blue Beetle, and Aqualad could be in there. There's some stuff that
Well, Aqualad was a Titan at one point.
yeah. So
So, I
yeah.
mean, yeah. But I would like for it to kind of be the more classic approach
Mm-hmm.
mixed with some of the other like characters like Beast Boy and Starfire who and Raven who don't get out of the Titan's shadow as much. Love for them to be in this. And then, you know, Kid Flash, Speedy, Robin, and maybe like an Aqualad or
Yeah.
Donna Troy, right? Like you want to have a balance. Like I don't want the full lineup from the cartoon. I don't think we need to see Cyborg in this, and you know, um, we can give him a rest a little bit from the live action stuff. But please, let's, in my opinion, mix some of the old original Titans and mix some of the Titans people know from the cartoon, and let's make that team. And I think it would be pretty solid. But I'm getting my hopes up with that. I'm gonna think more along the lines it's gonna be the cartoon lineup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more Teen Titans Go than anything. You might even get Cyborg in there. But you know what I really like the idea of, what you said is great idea to get Wally in there because it does two things. One, it gives you time for Barry. You can, it gives you options to have Barry later or just continue with Wally as the Flash moving forward and have Barry as like a throwaway line maybe. Or the other thing you can do is you can insert the Flash in there without having a Flash movie, without having any of the baggage from Ezra Miller. I feel like it's your have your cake and eat it too for the DCU when it comes to how you handle the Flash. Otherwise, you're gonna have to wait for the Flash for freaking ever. So that would be a dream come true because it means I wouldn't have to wait an eternity for Flash.
I know Ron is very like we need to give Flash a break just because of the reception stuff of the movie because I know he like liked the Flash but he was like, oh, I can't see him being in like the first lineup. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I think Gunn won't let that affect them. I do think Gunn will, if they do a Justice League movie or some sort of team up, Flash would be a part of the team. I'm assuming he already exists in this universe, just like all these other characters exist. And I just don't think he'll get a solo film
Yeah, I agree with that.
for a
He'll be
while.
part of
If
the
so,
world, I think. And um kind of like Hulk is part of the Avengers, but you're not going to get a solo Hulk movie ever again. I, here's the thing that kills me about the whole Flash thing, and like, should we sideline him? That movie is going to be so easily forgotten if you replace it with something else. If you replace it with something that people just dig and like, the key to it is you have to have clear characters. Ezra Miller was playing Barry Allen and Wally West at the same time. Just have one play Wally. Just have one play Wally and present it as Wally, kind of, and use the animated Wally West as the template because that's what a lot of people our age grew up with. I think, and the shows are very popular. Very popular. Young Justice is popular. Teen Titans is popular. Teen Titans Go is popular. I mean, this is really more popular than anything non-Batman in DC. I think it's more popular. I would argue that it's more popular than uh, Superman or Woman with like the general audience. I like the people who like kind of watch the stuff but don't go to everything.
Yeah.
Like it's a very well known thing. I mean, my I had a adolescent development class this past fall, and my teacher used Teen Titans Go as an example in our lesson, and she's like 65. Her kids liked it, so like. And her kids are probably about my age, so it makes sense. I think
I
there's
mean,
I think there's some power
they've
to this.
they've been around since the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Teen Titans, you know? So like they are one of the they've been a team that's been around forever now. They kind of got revived in the 80s and then they kind of became more popular uh through that, but they've been around for a long time. So, yeah, I mean, this is something that they have I think there is some sort of recognition
Mm-hmm.
among that stuff. And I think we're going to definitely read some Titan stuff for the
Oh
podcast.
hell yeah! I'm looking forward to
I
that.
mean, I love. I mentioned I was watching Chuck at the top of the show, but in Chuck's apartment they have a poster of this of the Teen Titans, and it has Flash front and center, Wally West, and I love it so much. I was like, I need to find that poster. I might need to buy that poster because it is
Mm-hmm.
just a really great look. It's from the 2008 to 2011 run where it's called Titans Together. So I think it's yeah, June 2008. But just something like that, I'm like, man, that is great. So they have a lot of characters that they can bring in and out of the team. Uh, but yeah, if you can introduce Dick this way, or even a Tim Drake, if Dick is already Nightwing and not part of the Titans. But now we even see that the Titans have come back Dawn of DC and Dick is leading them as Nightwing, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
have like an older set of Titans. Because that they're the premier team right now. There's no Justice League in the DC comics right now. If people are not following along with that, it hasn't been since Dark Crisis, which is we're going on 2 years of no Justice League team in the comics. I do think that'll change soon, but Titans are the main team, so that's also kind of boosting them, I think, a bit.
Mm-hmm. Andy and Mark Waid and Dan Mora's World's Finest. The Titans are an awesome part of that. So
They did a spinoff series, World's Finest Teen Titans, and that was great too. And that had more of the classic team with Speedy and Kid Flash and Donna and all those. So Aqualad. So it's been it's been good.
and
But
that's stretched out to the Doom Patrol too. So like that series has a lot of different spins. So pretty cool.
yeah, so we'll see how it goes. They've had, like I said, a lot of rosters. They can kind of go whatever way they want with it. I'm hoping that we get a mix of both because we did just get Titans the TV show. So like let's kind of maybe mix up the team a bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, there was something missing about Titans the show. There was like it was so close
I
to being
never
great.
finished it. I loved season 1. Season 2 dragged for me. I didn't finish
I
it,
felt the
and I
same
should.
exact way. I felt the same exact way. I love
All
season
right, good.
one. I like
Yeah,
season
season 1's good.
three. And then they did this thing where they split season four into two parts. And I watched the first part of it and then the last episode of the first part and the final season. I just never went back to it. I wasn't hooked. I forgot a lot of what was going on. I just said, I don't even know if I care anymore. Like it's ending. It's just, it took the sales out of the show. if they really wanted, they did the show a disservice the way they handled that.
All right. Anything else? Was that the full show that we had?
You know what? I kind of think we hit on everything I wanted to hit on. Um, it's a good 50 minutes of news coverage. I do want to say I'm almost to the Kingdom Come return for that Mark Wade run. So we'll probably have to talk about that on the show once I get
Yeah,
there
yeah.
and maybe catch up current on that. I'm getting close. I've just gotten hooked on it. I don't. I was like, why did I stop reading this? And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm on the wait 6 months tier for DC Infinite. So I started reading other stuff, and then I was like, oh my god, I can catch back up on this. So it's a blast, man. It's a really good run. That art is just absolutely incredible, and we both feel the same way about Mark Waid.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's the one where right now anybody's like, what comic should I be reading? I always bring that one up. I like JSA as well, but I think Jeff Johns is wrapping that up. I haven't seen official about that, but he did leave DC to go do the creator led books, and I think they're gonna just probably wrap up JSA with like
Mm.
11 or 12 issues. So it's not really gonna be much more ongoing. I'm getting like two in a month because of the way stuff got like pushed back and all that. So yeah. Uh right now I would say that's the best DC comic is World's
I
Finest.
would also say that Tom King's Wonder Woman is fantastic. And
Hmm.
the Dawn of DC Superman run with its take with Lex
That's
being
been
in
good.
prison and Supercorp instead of Luthor Corp. It's been really good. I've enjoyed the daylights out of it. It's creative. It's fun. It's got this light upbeat Superman feel to it. Um, so yeah, I think that's an exceptional run. So those are the ones I'm really checking out right now. I want There's so much I want to read right now. It's like I've been diving into comics more and more. I think it's this nice little escape. Sometimes TV feels like a commitment at the end of the day. It's like you got to stay up for and watch TV, and sometimes you can read 2 or 3 issues of comics and go to sleep. It's a pretty good deal. So
Yeah, I gotta catch up on a few. I've been so busy with all this other stuff I'm doing right now that I haven't been able to read as much as I've been wanting to.
well, your life's
So I
about
gotta
to get
catch up on some.
crazy. So your life is about
Yeah,
to get
good luck,
crazier and
right?
crazier. So I wish you all the
Yeah,
luck in the world with that. But
thanks. Yeah, we'll wrap up this episode now. I hope this is probably the most negative episode we've had. I apologize to people, but
yeah, but
we'll
it's
we'll see how it
honest.
goes.
It's honest. And I feel like we were both pretty positive about the Superman stuff. We were more negative about the reaction to that
Yeah,
people
yeah.
were
So it's
having.
just like a vibe, it's just like
Yeah,
a negative vibe. But
yeah. Dark
um,
Cloud. You title it Dark Clouds in the DCU.
all right, we'll see how it goes. But you can reach us at elseworldsdcfan on all of our social media. Make sure that you check that out. We had a great draft with Anthony from Digging for Kryptonite. That was our last episode before this one, so make sure you check that out. We'll eventually get back to the Smallville updates. We've been slammed with a whole bunch of other stuff right now, and
Yeah.
if you're listening to the Marvel stuff over on To the Infinity Saga and Beyond, we're doing Ultimate Spider-Man recaps
Mm-hmm.
for the new comic. Ron and I have been doing X-Men 97 recaps, which has been a fantastic show on Disney Plus right now.
I have so much
And
fun
I've been
listening to you
doing
guys. So that's really good.
a lot of Star Wars talk over on the Pod Awakens as I'm getting guests for our High Republic Road to the Acolyte series as we build up to our Acolyte coverage in June, less than 2 months away from the premiere of that show. And yeah, less than 3 months away until my world changes completely. So we'll see how the shows. We're making plans on how we're going to handle this stuff while I'm out. I'm hoping I'm not actually out like too long, but
Well, I think
we'll
you're going
see.
to need to podcast here or there and there to keep your sanity.
Yeah, And I'll be off from work for a couple weeks at least, and then so if that's time where she's watching the baby, maybe I can sneak away. But we'll
Hmm.
see how it goes from there. But
I hope you get more
yeah,
than a
so
couple weeks.
no, that's all I get.
Dang, that's rough.
Paternity leave don't get as much as maternity leave.
And
So
and that's probably fair, but I feel like you should get more than a couple weeks. It's a really important time. Really excited for you.
thanks. So make sure you follow us there, like and subscribe to us here on YouTube. Make sure you rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We got a few of those on Spotify, and if you can leave us a review on Apple, that would be great. And yeah, so have a great rest of your week. We'll catch you next time with some sort of episode. We'll figure it out. We'll leave space for if news comes, but if no news come, maybe we talk a comic series or something like that. So just stick around for updates on that, and we'll catch you next time.